A couple of weeks ago, I put together a video walking you guys through my personal process on how I sell books on Amazon KDP. Now, what has been so cool about this is for those of you who have actually put this into action, you've come back and left comments on how quickly you are getting sales. Now, I'll put up a couple of these screenshots here, but from what I'm seeing, you guys are starting to get sales within the first week of starting. This is something that I said would happen in that video, and I even started a brand new account, and I was showing you in that video how quickly it organically gets sales, but it is so cool to see that you guys are actually putting this into action and getting the same results. Now, with that being said, I wanted to take it one step further and give you guys my 5 best tips of what you can do for your Amazon KDP listings to get sales the fastest. Now, in this video, I'll explain things on camera here, but I'll also switch you over to the computer and we'll walk through all of this with real examples, so it's actionable advice that you can take. Now, just before we get into this video, I just want to preface it by saying that my personal record is getting my first sales within 3 days of getting my book approved. And if you guys have watched that full tutorial, you know that this is totally organic, no paid ads, no marketing at all. So the challenge that I present to you guys is once you put this into action, let me know if you can beat my record of 3 days. All right, guys, so with all that being said, let's get started in this video, starting with the first of 5 tips. So the first tip that I have for you is to make sure that you are picking the right type of book to sell on Amazon KDP. A couple of years ago, Amazon KDP did blow up on YouTube. A lot of people were sharing content on how to do it. However, what they were teaching how to do was to create low content blank journal books. These are just books like this that have a simple, funny cover, and then they have lined pages inside. Now, what this means for you and me is that there are a lot of people competing in creating blank journal books. However, there are not many people competing in other categories on Amazon KDP. This is where if you pick the right category that does not have a lot of people competing in, you are organically going to get sales the fastest. So I'm going to put up a big list on the screen here of different types of books you can create for Amazon KDP. And my best advice, my first tip here, is to create word search books. Now, this is an example of a word search book made on Amazon KDP. And the reason that this is such a good category of books to create right now is that not many people know how to create these word search puzzles. Anyone can create a front and back cover for Amazon KDP, but actually knowing how to create those puzzles inside, that is the tricky part. So what that means is there are far less people competing trying to sell word search puzzles compared to creating blank journals. Now, if you don't know how to create these word search puzzles, don't worry, that is actually the case for most people out there. Again, that's why there's not very many competitors. The video that I was just talking about that I created a couple weeks ago walks you through how to create these word search puzzles and format them for Amazon KDP. So that's my first tip for you. Essentially, if you create word search puzzles, you are competing against far less people than other Amazon KDP categories. So organically, just by picking that category of books, you are going to get sales faster. Now, the second tip I have for you is a more advanced strategy, but it is going to help you a lot to get sales fast. And what that is to research the niches before you create your word search books. Now, essentially, you can just come up with random ideas to create word search books on, and those are generally going to sell better than other Amazon KDP categories. However, if you take that one step further and you research all of the different ideas or topics of word searches, you can find specific topics that have very few or no people competing in, but people are actively searching on Amazon to buy them. So I did make a dedicated video about this on the channel. I'll put a link to that down in the description if you want to see it, but I'll give you guys the gist of it right now. So in the computer, this is the tool BookBolt. This is the tool that I use for my whole process for creating these books. If you go to keywords on the left, click on that and go to search. And then all we have to do is type in word search and give that a search itself. Just quickly switch the results to 100 instead of 10. This allows us to keep scrolling and we can sort through all of these very quickly. And then all you have to do is as you are scrolling through here, if you find an idea that you are interested in making a word search book about, like an adventure themed word search book, just heart that and then keep coming through this list and just heart a bunch of these ideas you are interested in. So anxiety related word search books, army themed word search books, astronomy word search books, and you can go all the way through here and just favorite all of these different ideas that you like. Now, once you have favorited a bunch of these, just go to keywords again. Now go to favorites. This is going to have all of the ones that you've just hearted. And all you have to do here is click on the 3 lines for each one of these. And this is going to pull up the competition score. So right here, it is telling us how many people are competing in this niche. And to the left of it is estimated how many sales are happening each month in that niche. So just like that, we spent a couple seconds researching niches and we've come across adventure themed word search books. It's an A-rated niche. Just like in school, you get an A if you did really well. You get an F if you did very poorly. But the A is telling us that there are very few other people competing in this specific niche of adventure themed word search books. So guys, that's all it takes to do this research. But then instead of blindly coming up with ideas to create word search books about, you are being intentional in it. And you know before you even spend time creating that book that you're competing with very few other people. All right, and that brings us into the third tip that I have for you. And this is in regards to the size of the book. So when you are creating your book, you get to choose what size is that book going to be printed. So this is a 6:9 size. This is an 8.5 by 11 size. Both of these are popular options for word word search books. Now, what this tip is I recommend selecting the 6x9 size, the smaller size. Now, the reason for this is that what I've seen from sales data is that this sells as good or even better than 8.5x11. And the kicker to it is that you can make more money selling this way. So switching over to the computer, let me show you this. So this is an example of a 6x9 size book with 110 pages. The cost to print is $2.32. Now, for example, if we look at another book that is the same 110 pages, but it is 8.5x11, this is $2.87 per book to print. That's the difference of 55 cents that could be profit going into our pocket instead of spending it on printing cost. Now, before moving on from this one, there is a second tip that I want to bundle into this one because it relates directly, and that is what you should set your sales price as. So what I have seen on my accounts is that anywhere between $5.99 and $7.99 sells the best. Now, to show you a real example of this, if you look at something set at $7.99, if it is a 6x9 size, it's only $2.32 to print. So we are going to make $2.47 in profit every time we get a sale. Now, if we look at that same sales price, but we switch the sizing to that 8.5x11 we were talking about, our cost of printing goes up that 55 cents. So we are only making $1.92 per sale. Now, to put this into context for you guys, when you are creating Amazon KDP books, you're not trying to create just 5 or 10 books. You want to create hundreds of books and get those on your account so they can be selling themselves on the marketplace. Now, realistically, each one of these books might get on average 10 sales per month. It really depends on what niche you are going into. But if we use that 10 sales per month as an example here, that difference of 55 cents per sale is $5.55 in profit per month for each book that we are creating on our account. This is something that so many people overlook. They think about 55 cents, they're not really worried about it. It seems like such a small amount. But once you start to see the volume that you can sell these books in, that 55 cents really starts to multiply. All right, guys, just like that, we are moving on to the fourth tip that I have for you. This one is just as important as all the others. And what this one is to make sure that you have keywords in your title and subtitle. So in that full video that I was talking about, it walks you through this and explains this in more detail. But essentially, when you're creating your listing, you have a title and you have a subtitle. What I use is a specific template for both of these. So first, for the title, I'm going to paste mine here. I put in X word search puzzle book. That is how simple this title is. It's meant to be very simple. That's the way that Amazon likes it. So all you have to do is swap out X with the niche that you're going into. So adventure word search puzzle book, for example. Now, below your book title is your subtitle. This is where you're going to get a lot of your keyword ranking power from. So here is the template that I use. Let's go back to the beginning. Word searches with easy to read print, about, and you've got 3 niches that you can put in here. So let's say, for example, the book is about adventure word searches. You could say adventure, camping, and hiking, or 3 related topics that are all similar to adventure. What this first part of the subtitle is going to do by putting in 3 of these niches instead of just 1 is anytime someone is searching for camping or hiking word search books, you are going to be ranking for those keywords as well. Now, beyond that, the rest of the subtitle here, I'm just going to scroll over here, is really just a technicality. You don't have to change any of this. It just has general good keywords for word search books. 6x9 size, 110 pages, 50 plus puzzles, gift for vacations, holidays, and free times. You don't have to change any of that. Those are just going to be general keywords that highlight the benefits that people are looking for when they're buying a word search in general. Again, I know we've kind of gone over this very quickly, but that full tutorial kind of walks you through all of this in more detail. And just like that, that brings us into the 5th tip. And what this tip is to use ChatGPT, which is a free artificial intelligence tool, to write your descriptions for your book listings. Now, the reason for this is ChatGPT can get very creative and write great descriptions, but they can work in the keywords that you want to rank for. So again, for this, I have a specific copy-paste template that I use. It says, use this format to write a description about let's switch that to adventure themed word search book. And then this is the description that I want it to mimic, but I want it to make it all about adventure themed keywords. Now, if you haven't guessed it, that video linked in the description explains how to do this part in more detail as well. But if you just hit go on ChatGPT, you can watch this write this description for you. It does it in a matter of seconds. So get ready for an exciting adventure. Dive into this thrilling word search book packed with adventure themed puzzles that will take you on a journey like no other. So all of this is just going to be written out geared towards an adventure themed word search book. And all you have to do is then just copy all of this and you can paste that right into your Amazon KDP listing in the description section. So guys, out of all of the tips I could give you, those are the 5 specific tips that I think will help you the most to get sales the fastest on your Amazon KDP books. Now guys, if you haven't seen that video that we've been talking about that walks through this entire process, I highly recommend watching it. I'm going to put a link to it down in the description. And the last thing that I want to say as a reminder is if any of you guys can beat my 3-day record, let me know down in the comments. This is going to be kind of a big challenge that we can all compete on. All right, guys, that is it for this one. As always, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, just let me know down in the comments, and I will plan on seeing you guys all in the next video.